So welcome everybody. Today we're going to inform you about active membership and all of the committees that Synergy offers. So what you can expect today is a PowerPoint with all committees, with information about all of them, so you can make a great choice if you want to be an active member and also which committee suits you the best. So I will share my screen now. Let's see this one. And then let's see. Slideshow. Okay, from start. So you're seeing the PowerPoint in the moment, is this correct? Can you please put your thumbs up if it works? Yes, thank you so much. So at the moment, we're going to have 21 committees that you can join, and we'll tell you a bit more about all of them. At first, committees in general, what is it to be an active member? The committees of Synergy organize around 150 activities each year, so that's a lot. As a committee member, you're responsible for every aspect of the activity, so you get a lot of freedom to think about activities yourself and to organize them and be responsible for it. And the board will support you and will help you out where needed, but you are responsible for the activities yourself. We have several kinds of committees. There are formal committees, informal, trips, and support committees. And during this presentation, you will see a lot of them in those categories. The workload of a committee varies from 1 till 10 hours a week. It depends on which committee you're in, how much work it is, but you'll get more information that later on. Why should you join a committee? It helps you to get some practical experience. You're all in the business administration or business economics studies, and this is very theoretical. And with the committee experience, you'll get an insight into practical things of organizing. Besides, it helps you to cooperate with other people and meet a lot of them. So not only your committee themselves, but also everyone who joins your activities. So it's a great way to network and to meet new people, especially for the freshmen. It's a great way to get to know everyone within Synergy and all of our members. So you'll meet a lot of people and especially make new friends. So I'll show you a short video. Let's see. Of some experiences of current active members, because we can tell you everything about it and how much fun it is, but they are the ones who experience it as well. So I made a small compilation of their experiences. Geluid? Oh. My screen sharing is gepauzeerd. The video doesn't work out when I switch to the video. So maybe this works. No, I'm getting back into the PowerPoint. Then we'll skip the video and we'll post it online at the page with the committee information, so you can see the experiences over there. And then we'll just move on to all the committees that start in September, and I'll give the word to Mandy to start with those.
Okay, so also within committees, you will have different functions. So everyone has their own tasks to do. You start, of course, with the chairman. He does all the contact with the board, he prepares the meetings, and he makes sure that everyone is on track with everything. Then you have the treasurer. They handle all the financial shit. Slides, yes. So then you have the marketing officer. They do all the creative ideas about PR. They handle all the promotion and all promotion stunts. You have internal. They manage the location, the food, everything around the activities which is held. Then you have external. They handle all the contact with companies and they find sponsors. So we've got a lot of activities that start in September. We'll also have some that start in February, which will be shown later in the presentation. So in September, the Career Committee, the Community Committee, the Connect Committee, the Formal Master Committee, the Informal Committee, Informal Master Committee, International Magazine, Memberdeal Committee, NCE, Personal Development Committee, PR Committee, Sports Committee, Synergy Drink Committee, and the Synergy Committee will start. And we'll tell you something more about every one of them next.
So we'll start with the Career Committee. The Career Committee organizes only formal activities. So you can expect in-house days, workshops, readings, and the business day. The in-house day is a day where you go with a group of students to the office of a company, and they will tell you more about what they do and what you can expect from them, and some career opportunities. So it's a fun day away from campus. And they also organize workshops and readings. And during a business day, it's like a complete day with all kinds of workshops and readings in one day. The committee consists of around 10 committee members, and you'll spend an average of 3 hours per week. This differs per period. So sometimes you have a lot of workshops coming up and then you might be busier, but sometimes there's nothing on the planning. So you have more time to brainstorm, and then I think you'll spend an hour a week. So that's about the career committee.
So we also have a community committee. This is something so you can do something for our society. For example, they choose a charity group and they have fundraisings. Last year they had a lotto, so you could buy a lot, and they had well, everything they sold went through serious request. They also organize a lot of activities during the Ragweek. The community committee consists of around 5 committees of 5 committee members, and they spend an average of 1 or 2 hours a week, depending on when their activities are.
So then we also started a new committee this year, which is the Connect Committee. Of course, this year is a bit different than all the other years due to the COVID-19 measurements. Therefore, there's less education on campus, so you don't get to see your friends or everyone within your year as much as before. And especially for freshmen, it's hard to get to know new people, especially other first-year students. So we decided to start a new committee to connect all specific students per study phase. So what they're going to do is there will be 6 activities this year organized by the Connect Committee, 2 for freshman students, 2 for second-year students, and 2 for third-year students. And these activities are exclusive for those study phase. So it's a nice committee to start with. Most of these activities will be informal, but formal is also a possibility for example, for the third-year students. But you get a lot of freedom to think of activities yourself and what you want to organize. And it's a nice way to bond and to get in contact with all the different study phases. This committee will get around 10 committee members, and you'll spend an average of 1 hour a week. So that's about the new committee.
Okay, so we also have a formal master committee. Formal master is there are 4 masters. You can mostly expand your network because you have to contact a lot of companies. You organize 2 recruitment dinners and other formal activities. Mostly think of an in-house day, for example. The committee has about 7 members, and it takes an average of 2 hours a week. And it's mostly to expand your network and to get to know many companies and make a great choice.
And everyone can join all committees, so you don't have to be a master for the master committees or a bachelor student for the other committees. Also for internationals, you can join whatever committee you'd like. For the more formal master committee, it's important that bachelor students can't be at the recruitment dinners because the companies only want master students over there. So you can help organize them, but you can't be there on the actual day. So maybe that's important in your decision on which committee you want to join. Then I'll go to the next one, which is the informal committee, which is quite the opposite of the formal one. This committee will organize informal activities for fun. So think of a casino night, bowling, or a beer canvas, or whatever you come up with. As long as it's informal, you'll organize 5 activities a year. So that's not that many. So you'll spend only 1 or 2 hours a week. Sometimes there's a week without a meeting. It's a very low-key committee to start with, but also if you're very busy and you want to do something, don't be that busy. This is a committee which is suitable for you. It has 6 to 8 committee members, and as you can see in the picture, this is last year's committee, and they organize a lot of fun activities. So if you want to be creative and think of anything possible, think about boat parties or something. At this moment, we'll start with it, but then with the corona measurements in mind, but hopefully towards the end of the year, we can organize much bigger things and parties as well. So that's about the informal committee. Then we'll move on.
So we also have an informal masters committee. You can think a lot like the informal committee, only this committee organizes activities just for masters and pre-masters, of course. They also have about 5 committees a year. For example, last year they did a cocktail workshop, which was quite a success, or a liquor workshop. It was really fun. You get to think outside of the box, and of course you get to meet a lot of masters. It takes about 1 to 2 hours a week, depending on when the activities are, and it has about 6 committee members.
Then we have the international committee, and the name might be misleading, but it isn't just for internationals, it's for everyone who likes it. And the international committee organizes informal activities with an international touch. So the activities as well as the committee are for Dutch and international students as well. Last year they organized, for example, the Christmas dinner. There are a lot of international students here during Christmas who don't go home, so we thought it would be nice to organize a dinner especially for them. But you can think of any activities you'd like. It takes about 1 hour a week, and there are 6 committee members within this committee. Last year there were 4 internationals and 2 Dutch students, but we tried to make it a 50-50 one. It's also a nice committee if you like the international track of business administration, because you get to learn the practical side of working together with people of different cultures and see how it works out to organize something. So that's about the international committee.
So Cindy also has a magazine. It shows up about 4 times a year. You can choose to be in a magazine committee if you like writing. It's a very flexible committee. You can always choose whenever and wherever you want to write. You write about synergy, about activities, about members, about companies. You can choose to do a topic of where to eat in Nijmegen or some fun places. It has about 5 committee members and takes about 2 to 3 hours a week, depending on how much you want to write.
And then there is the Memberdeal committee. Probably you already know that as a Synergy member, you get some member deals. For example, at Shabu Shabu, you get a discount on your books, and this committee tries to establish new member deals. So especially if you like negotiation, or if you want to learn more about contacting companies, this might be the committee for you. It exists of 3 to 4 committee members, and it takes around 1 hour a week. Last year, the Memberdeal committee started a question list to find out what members want in a deal. So next year's committee can start with the results and try to establish new member deals.
Okay, so Nijmegen Career Events, that's the NCA committee. This is one of our biggest committees. They organize a 2-day event where students and companies can meet in both formal and informal settings. This is mostly about Sanadom. In November, there's this year's edition. It's a collaboration between Synergy and ASP. So you will not only be in a committee with Synergy members, but also with some people from ASP. It also takes a bit more time. It's between 3 to 10 hours a week. It's mostly about contacting companies and organizing 2 days with a lot of fun. It is it's a nice way to do both a formal and informal committee and to take a bit of both. So it takes about 10 committee members, some of ASP, and it's a really nice way to for a bit for your second committee, for example.
Yes, so this committee is also very attractive for master students, as you get to know all kinds of companies that will visit the Nijmegen Career Event. So also your potential new employer. It's a committee which is quite hard. It takes a lot of time and some responsibility. And therefore, for this committee, there are some job interviews. Those are with the board of ESV or Synergy or some of both. Don't be scared of this. It's just a simple interview to see what your motivation is and what kind of person you are, so we can make a committee that can collaborate really well and make the best out of this event. Then I'll move on to the next one, which is the Personal Development Committee. With this committee, you organize activities to develop your own practical skills and talents, which is not necessarily within professional context. There are some activities, for example, as a job interview workshop or recruitment workshop, but you can also think of things like a first aid workshop, or whatever you think that improves your practical skills or talents. So it can also be painting or, for example, what they did last year was a self-defense training. Then during this committee, you focus on finding interesting opportunities. So you can think of workshops, speakers, just what I told you. It exists of 7 committee members and it takes up to 1 to 2 hours a week. And those activities are spread throughout the year.
So we also have a PR committee. The PR committee makes all the, for example, posters or introduction videos. You get to work with multiple programs. You do not necessarily need to know all about the programs already. You will learn when doing it. It's a very nice committee if you want to do a small committee, but which doesn't take a lot of time. And you also learn about programs, so that's a nice thing to go with it. It has about 10 committee members, and the average time spent depends on the request. So every other committee can send a request to use for posters, flyers, videos, and you will make them.
Then there's the sport committee. The sport committee organizes 4 events a year. 2 of those events are already fixed, which are the Batavieren race and the soccer tournament. The Batavieren race is a running race of students from Nijmegen to Enschede, and you organize this from Synergy. So this is not only a running race, as there's a party over there as well, and you'll sleep there. So it's quite a lot to organize. And there's the soccer tournament, which is really large. There are also 2 tournaments going on during the same day. One of them is playing the best games of soccer, and the other one is drinking the most beers. And that's a fun combination to organize. Then there are also 2 free activities. Last year they went climbing or curling, but as long as it's a sport or some kind of sport, for example, Mario Kart also counts. You get to organize it. It has 7 committee members and it takes 1 or 2 hours a week.
So the Synergy Drink Committee, every month we have a monthly drink. Mostly they have a theme or anything. We also have after exam lunches or drinks, which we'll also organize, and we have a Synergy division. The Synergy division is a competition between all committees. They mostly it's created, so they send you the videos, you post them online, and you get to keep accounts. The committee has about 8 committee members, and it's a fun committee to start with to get to know more people. It takes about 1 or 2 hours a week.
So I just heard that there's someone still in the waiting room and I can't accept this person if I'm screen sharing. So I'll stop the share at this person and then go on. So I'll just wait until they're in. So hi everyone who's new in here. We already started the presentation, but I can't do screen sharing and admitting people from the waiting room at the same time. So I'm sorry. And we'll move on with the PowerPoint. We were at the Synergy Weekend Committee. The Synergy Weekend Committee organizes a member weekend within Holland. The committee organizes the activities during the weekend. Think of sports, games, anything you can think of. You'll fix the transportation and the food during the weekend. The committee exists of 7 committee members and it takes 1 to 3 hours a week, which also varies throughout the year. So the week before the weekend, you will be very busy, but in the beginning, it's mostly brainstorming and thinking of what you want to do and where you want to go.
So these were all the committees that start in September. We also have some that start in February. Those are mostly trips. For example, the Atlas Committee, Business Trip Committee, Converse Committee, Introduction Committee, Kickoff Committee, Ski Trip Committee, and Synergy Week Committee. So these are all the committees which start in February, and most of the time they go over the years. So you also take a bit of next year's at the beginning.
So the first committee that starts in February is the Atlas Committee. What's also important to know is that you can sign up for the February committees by now. In February, there will be another information session about only these committees, but we thought it would be quite nice to already tell you something about it, but signing up will take place in February itself. So the Atlas Committee, it's a trip committee which organizes a business trip for 40 people to an interesting city abroad. This can be in Europe, this can be somewhere else. You have a budget from Synergy, so you see for yourself what you can do with it and where you want to go. So it's up to the committee members to decide the location. The trip will take 7 or 8 days and it will take place in April or May. During this trip, you will visit several companies. There are going to be some cultural activities, and of course, we're going to be clubbing in a foreign city. So these are also the things that you will organize as the Atlas Committee. Besides, you'll find a hostel and you manage to find a restaurant where you can eat and have breakfast. So that's about the trip. Within this committee, you have those internal and external positions. The internal people will organize everything about the activities and the hostel and the food, and the external members will deal with the companies. So they are going to achieve some nice company visits, hopefully. This committee exists of 6 committee members and it takes 1 to 4 hours a week. It differs per period. During the trip itself, you're very busy, of course. And in the beginning, it will be like 1 hour a week for brainstorming and thinking of a plan on what you're going to do. What's also nice to mention is that Mandy and I know each other from the Atlas Committee, so we were in it together. So it's also a place where you can meet new people, 40 of them. Then we'll go on to the next one.
So we also have the visitor committee. That is a trip to a European city, mostly by bus. You will go for a 2 or 3 day committee of trip. You spend a lot of time visiting companies, and of course you go clubbing in the evening. So here it is the same as with Atlas. You have intern and extern committee members. It consists of about 8 committee members and takes about 2 hours a week. This also depends. In the beginning, you will do a lot of brainstorming about where to go and what to do. And in the end, there are more things to double check, so you will be a bit busier.
Okay, then there is the conference committee. The conference committee organizes a one-day conference. This might sound like a very easy committee, but this is like a big conference on an external location. During this day, you organize some interesting workshops, readings, and the speaker. And it ends with a drink. There's also lunch during the session. With organizing this, you'll be with 7 committee members, and it takes 2 to 6 hours a week. The 6 hours is like the week before a conference, and during most weeks you'll spend 2 hours. This conference is a really nice formal committee to start with. It's not like this huge 2-day event like the Nijmegen Career event, but it's a smaller one. Especially when you're interested in contacting companies and creating a network, and if you like formal activities, this is the committee for you.
Okay, so we also have the introduction committee for all first years students. Normally we do quite some activities in the introduction week. We've got several parties, we've got some free activities, and of course the Barendog battle. This is a day where you do all kinds of games at the Barendog. You will enter the barbecue and a drink. It's a really fun committee. It takes about 1 hour a week. And you're especially busy during the summer holidays since the introduction starts right after. It's really fun way to get to meet new students since you will meet so many people during the introduction, and it has about 7 members.
Yes, especially for the freshmen who missed like their orientation this week, this might be interesting for you as you get to know the orientation as it was originally meant. But also for other members, please feel free to join this committee. It's not only for freshmen, but it's for everyone. So if you'd like to organize those kind of events, you can sign up for this one. Then there's the kickoff committee. The kickoff committee organizes 13 activities, both formal and informal, during the months October and September. So all the events that are currently planned are organized by the kickoff committee. So think of the freshman dinners, the drinks, but also the cocktail workshop after night. So you get a lot of freedom to think of those activities yourself. Currently there are 7 committee members, and you'll spend 2 or 3 hours a week with this committee. And you're especially busy in the months October and September.
So every year we also organize a ski trip committee of ski trip. So this is a trip for about 40 people. You get to choose a location. You will organize a lot of activities during the trip, and yeah, it's just all about skiing and après ski, of course. It has about 6 members, and it takes about 2 hours a week leading up to the trip itself.
So those were all committees that Synergy offers this year. At this moment, you can sign up for all these September committees. If you have any more questions, you can ask them afterwards in the chat. I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. All our activities are organized by members, but we thought it would be great to do something back for you as well as a board. So therefore, we organize the active membership activity twice a year. During the active membership activity, you get an activity for free from us. This is Oh, okay. That's fun. Okay, it's back in its place. So this activity is a secret up until the day itself. Like last year we had some dinner, and then we did drinking games. There also was a beer bingo once, so we'll organize something for you to do something back. It's a nice activity to go to with your committee itself, but also to meet other committee members. So there are like around 100 active members, and you got to meet them all at the active members activity. Then I would like to say something as well about the process of signing up and joining a committee. Only for the NCE committee, there are some interviews. The other activities of the other companies are open to everyone, and you can sign up via the website, and we do our utmost best to place you in the committee of your preference. You can sign up with 3 preferences, and Mandy will tell you something more about signing up.
So you get from today you have some till the 17th of September to sign up for the committees via the website. You see the link in here if you want it. We can also send it in the chat. You can give up 3 preferences. So think of 3 committees you would like to join. If you want to join less, or if you're only interested in one, that's also fine. And if you want to be a chairman, check that box and send a motivation letter to marketing@synergy. And we hope to all see you signing up.
I'm muted. So if you have any more questions about the committees or about being an active member in general, please ask them. You can ask them in the chat, but you can also put on your camera and your microphone, and we'll answer them right away. I'll stop screen sharing so I can see all of you. It's a bit more personal. So this PowerPoint will be shared as well. This will be on the website at the committee page. There's a blog with more information, and you can find the PowerPoint in here, and probably afterwards also the recording of yesterday's or today's information session. If you have any more questions about the committees itself, you can ask them now, or you can send an email to marketing@synergy.nu. And I think if no one has a question, we'll end this session. So I would like to say, there is a question. Will the Connect committee also organize activities for pre-master, and as a committee member, will you be working on activities of all years? The Connect committee will only organize activities for the bachelor study phases, as we have an informal and formal master's committee. So they are organizing events for only master and pre-master students. So we thought it would be nice if the Connect committee only organizes those activities for the other study phases. And as a committee member, you will be working on all of those activities. So 6 activities a year, and you get to visit all of them. So I hope that answers
You could
question.
also choose as a committee. I know the body committee divides the bodies to divide all the events so that 2 of you will work on, for example, on events for the first years and something like that. But it's completely up to the committee itself.
So also feel free to walk by the Synergy office if you want to talk to us about which committee suits you the best, or if you have any more questions. I think for now all the questions are answered, and I hope that we gave you a lot of information. It's a lot of information, so just let it sink in slowly. You can look everything back at the website, so you can make a choice on which committee you would like to join. So yeah, it says on the website there is no ski option. That's correct. The trip committees, at the moment, it's very hard to already start with organizing trips due to COVID-19. In February, we will see if we can start those committees back up for next year. So this year, in the second half year of the year, there will be trips, but we're still we don't think it's a good idea to already start organizing them because it has a lot of uncertainty. So therefore, the ski is no longer on the website, but it is in the PowerPoint for now. So you can find that one on the website. So there's the information about the ski trip. But then I think that answers your question why it's no longer an option on the website. When subscribing to a committee, do you have to choose 3 or can you also choose 1 or 2? You can also choose 1 or 2. You can fill in a maximum of 3 preferences. If you don't want to give more than 1 or 2 preferences, there's this option not applicable. And if you click that one, you'll have only 1 or 2 preferences. I think we answered all questions by now. So feel free to contact us all or walk by the Synergy office if you want to know more. We'll give you some time to think about subscribing or not. The deadline is on the 17th of September. So keep that in mind. And I think that I'm going to end this meeting right now. So thank you for your attention and hopefully we'll see you soon, maybe at your own activity.
Yeah, and have a great day all.
Bye.